Gabriel Bortoleto regrets bad decisions at Silverstone that may have cost him a great result. Toto Wolff comments, "Our intention is to continue with George and 𝘾𝙤𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯. Max Verstappen dodges questions, avoids giving straight answers and says, I might not even wake up tomorrow. And then, I won't drive for anyone. And what's more, when asked about him and Toto Wolff being in Sardinia at the same time, he dodged the question and said, just because we traveled to the same place doesn't mean we met up. There were a lot of people there. Ferrari arrives at Spa with major updates, and they're not the only ones. Tomorrow we'll know everything. But the red team is hoping to save the second half of the season. Cadillac and its 2 available seats remain at the center of attention. And even 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯 is being mentioned as one of the candidates on the list. 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯 Drugovich said the other day, I haven't talked to them, but I, Rodrigo, can tell you, his people did talk to Cadillac. And do you know when? During the week of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, there were several meetings. Thursday, July 24th, 2025, the mini break is over, 2 weekends in a row without Formula 1. So now, it's time to get ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. So, sit down and let's talk about everything. Gabriel Bortoleto regretted the bad decisions made during the weekend of the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. He believes he could have challenged his teammate, 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯, who achieved his first career podium after 239 starts, if it weren't for a wrong decision. At Silverstone, it's worth remembering, he started ahead, well ahead of 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯, but chose to pit before the cars lined up on the grid to try and pull a fast one. Meanwhile, 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯 stayed out on the track with intermediate tires. It ended up being a fateful decision made by him, but not just by him. George Russell and Charles Leclerc, much more experienced drivers, also decided to take the same route. Bortoleto ended up spinning on the 4th lap, while 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯, in a survival race and yes, with a lot of speed and perfect execution as well, climbed through the field and made it to the podium. When asked by the press today if he would have liked to be on the podium, he answered what you and I would also say, of course, absolutely. And he said, I was super happy for Nico and I'm still super happy for him. But obviously I would have loved to be there fighting for it, but he made the right decisions. It is what it is. And if I had made the same decisions he did, I probably could have been close to fighting for the podium. But the first decision I made to pit for slick tires on the first lap was the wrong one. I saw some experienced guys ahead of me doing it, like Charles Leclerc and George Russell, and I thought, they know the track really well. And I saw some dry patches on the track and thought, I'll give it a try. We tried something like starting from the back, but it ended up not working out for any of those drivers and we had a lot of difficulties. I tried to do something, it didn't work. And I feel that those who just did the basics really well had a good race and managed to score points, or even get a podium like Nico. That's what I've been saying here for a while now. Bortoleto has shown a lot of maturity by taking responsibility himself and admitting that some strategy decisions are made by him. Besides that, I've also mentioned it, Giuliani Ceresoli and other people who analyze Formula 1 seriously. 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙯 has really been making lemonade out of the lemons he's got. He's been executing the races in an outstanding way. Bortoleto is in his first year, he's on an upward curve in qualifying, and has already been outperforming Nico. He just needs to finish putting these pieces together for race execution. Since Barcelona, Sauber has been giving him a car capable of scoring points, and the team needs and expects him to score more and more often to secure their fight for 6th place and maybe even challenge Williams. Which obviously makes any speculation that the team is sabotaging the driver laughable. After all, if he does well, it's better for them. The team has 41 points, 37 from 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙯 and 4 from Bortoleto. If Bortoleto manages to score more points, they could even catch up to Williams and escape from 7th place. After months of speculation, also fueled by himself, Toto Wolff came out today and said, the direction we want to take is with George and 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯. That's the priority. Mercedes is still keeping an eye on Max Verstappen, mainly because of the turmoil Red Bull has been going through since the last Formula 1 Grand Prix. No less than Christian Horner, on Tuesday after the race, was taken down. And Wolff also said, the drivers need to know where they stand. We always try to follow that rule and we'll do it again this time. Verstappen has been dodging questions and hasn't firmly said I'm staying at Red Bull next year, but he also hasn't said he's leaving. When also asked about a possible meeting with Verstappen in Sardinia, Wolff said, "If you take vacations near each other, it doesn't mean you're working together in Formula One." A few hours later, Max Verstappen was also asked about the bombshell departure of Christian Horner, who is now being replaced by Laurent Mekies, coming from Racing Bulls. 2 days after the British Grand Prix, Horner was dismissed on Tuesday. That day, Max was announced for his position. And today, the first media day, the first big gathering of Formula One. After what happened, it was clear that the topic would be buzzing, and it certainly was. The Verstappens, Max and Joes, were seen as an internal faction within Red Bull, in opposition to Horner, the team principal and CEO, and alongside them, possibly still is, Helmut Marko, Red Bull Group's advisor for the motorsport program. But Verstappen denied that Horner's departure had anything to do with his own future. "Actually, no," he said. "People can have differences of opinion, and I hope that happens, because if everyone agrees, then there's a problem. There needs to be differences of opinion, which already makes it clear that there were. Now we're going to work in a different direction, and I'm excited about that, and I don't think this has any bearing on my decision in the future." That is, Horner's departure. "The only thing that matters is that we work on the car and make it as fast as possible." Pressed by the media, then, about whether there was anything to be decided in the future, Verstappen dodged by saying, "There's also the possibility that I might not wake up tomorrow, and then I can't drive." The subject continued and, obviously, ended up, no pun intended, with Island and Sea in the story about the possible meeting between Toto Wolff and him in Sardinia, and he said, "I was swimming in the ocean. I really don't care because I went on vacation with my friends, my family, and when other people are there at the same time, yeah, that can happen. I mean, there are more people than just me and Toto on the island. So yeah, if you go to the same place, then, in this case, a meeting can happen." Am I the only one who thought there wasn't really a denial about the meeting? Like, no, we didn't meet. Let me tell you, Sunday is the last Sunday of the month, which means we have Happy Prize giveaways. Lego kits, Mercedes, Aston Martin with safety car, small Ferrari, big Ferrari, Lego minifigures. And that's not all. A book by Reginaldo Lamy, autographed. Want to see? Think I'm making this up? The Legos, as you know, are provided by Happy, our partner, and are raffled off to the channel's supporting members. We're getting close to 1,000. There are 4 tiers: Gene Haas, Paddock Pass, Stefano Domenicali, and Lawrence Stroll. All of them come with guaranteed gifts. 3 books per month, every month, 3 Formula Collection miniatures that will be up for grabs in the next live stream, next weekend, the Lego kits, and last week I had 1,000 Splash and Go stickers printed to include in the packages and send to you. And there's more. On Monday, we have a meeting with our t-shirt supplier to produce the next batch. The last one, was made in 2022. There were 267 t-shirts. The channel and the audience were much smaller back then. So, I suspect we're going to sell a lot more t-shirts this time. But anyway, that's a spoiler. We'll talk about that in the coming days. There's still time for you to become a channel supporter up until Sunday's live stream to enter the draw. Click the join or become a member button down here. Link. So yes, if you go to the same place, that's it. After the race live stream, shout "I want it" in the comments box and we'll filter you in. You'll be added to the giveaway spreadsheet. Notice that on this counter we have about 4,000 Ferraris worth of merchandise to give away to you, all Formula One themed, Reg's book, and books from Gulliver Publishing. It's not a small amount of benefit that we give back to you. Besides being able to watch the videos at premiere, you get priority responses during live streams, and whenever something extra pops up around here, you know, I don't keep it for myself, I give it away in a draw. Finally, an important message that's been in my stories since early this morning. My book is now available on Amazon in both print and ebook formats. It's here, I think here, anyway, somewhere around here. There's a QR code for you to go straight to the Amazon store and buy the book. I'm going to create a book list for those of you who want to learn more about Formula One, and then you can go there and buy directly through that affiliate link. Deal. Anyway, announcements made. Let's move on. Ferrari is arriving at Spa this weekend with those important modifications to the gearbox casing that the team is hoping for. They could make all the difference and bring the SF25 back to specs much closer to the original design. The main problem for Ferrari has been the so-called ride height, the suspension height, with a car that was bottoming out too much at the start of the year, causing wear on the plank, especially in race conditions, with a full tank, and in long radius corners with a lot of aerodynamic pressure, like what happened in China. Spa-Francorchamps has these characteristics: long radius corners, lots of aerodynamic pressure, and high speeds. Therefore, it will be a test to understand how things play out, and the team already sent the car out on track last week to collect data and get a sense of how things will be, since this weekend is a sprint race weekend, with less track time and only one free practice session. On the other hand, the sprint race can be used as a big test to understand how the car is performing, since after the sprint and before qualifying, park firm is lifted and modifications can be made. So, don't be surprised if Ferrari uses the sprint as a laboratory to figure out a lot of things and apply them in the race. Leclerc, Hamilton, and Fred Vasseur are placing high hopes that this could change the direction of the car, since this change required months of work. Just think that the Chinese Grand Prix was in March. It might seem like a small change, but it's actually substantial. It's almost like performing surgery, I don't know, on a human's abdomen. It's something deep within the structure, right in the middle, since the gearbox and its casing are part of the structure, and that's where the suspension attaches, which is where the whole issue lies. The angle of attack of the shock absorbers had to be changed, and you can only do that by making this new gearbox casing. There had already been speculation that this would show up at the Red Bull Ring and then at Silverstone, and now it shows up here at Spa. Graham Louder, the team principal of Cadillac, has given several interviews to various English-language podcasts in recent weeks, and a number of names have come up as candidates for the 2 spots Cadillac will have next year. And he said directly, "Yes, we are talking to Perez." Felipe Drugovich said in recent days that he hasn't had any talks with Cadillac, but I can tell you that I heard from a reliable source that Drugovich's people did talk to Cadillac during the week of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and it wasn't just a little. Apparently, there were 3 or 4 meetings in the days leading up to the race there in La Sarthe. Tomorrow, at 7:30 in the morning, there will already be cars on track for the only free practice session. At 11:30, the sprint qualifying. At the end of the afternoon, I'll come here to wrap up everything that happened on and off the track, talking about who's doing well, who's not, and whether Ferrari managed to fix that rear suspension. Saturday, 7 in the morning, we're going to have to wake up early. The short race, the sprint, and at 11, the qualifying. That's it. Not even time for lunch. I rushed to put out a video for you guys still in the middle of the afternoon. It takes a little while because it's just me, but I promise to post a short right after qualifying and keep editing. And on Sunday, 10 in the morning, the start of the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. But me and him, Jefferson Kern, 15 minutes before, we start the broadcast on the Outro Canal project, our parallel broadcast as a second screen. You watch over there and listen, follow along, and have a laugh with us here.
The last race, which was at Interlagos. Check out that battle between Haas and RB right in the middle of the pack.
And that's a direct fight, counting for the Constructors' Championship, including those 2+ Alpine.
Yeah, Lawson going for it there, pulling off a great overtake right on the first lap of the race.
Put it on band play, or F1 TV, turn down the volume, and sync up with us. There are ways to do that. I'll explain it to you right then. And you join us 15 minutes before the start all the way until after the checkered flag. That's it. You watch the podium, I head back home, have lunch, prepare the slides, and at 6 o'clock we're back here for our post-race live, talking about everything that happened on and off the track, the main news of the weekend, answering your questions, your super chats, and raffling off these amazing prizes for you all. These times are set on the channel's social media and have been sent out in our notification groups, Instagram, Telegram, and WhatsApp, where you can join and start getting an automatic message every time I post new content, these weekend schedules, breaking news, and so on. This week, on Tuesday, 33 minutes of information and reflection for you all about Formula One from back in the day. Talking about cars, drivers, the broadcasts, and the races from back in the day. Is it really true that Formula One was so much better back then and that today it's just garbage? It's 33 minutes long. It's worth it. On Wednesday, a small but great story that I had simply forgotten. I experienced it firsthand. They told me at the Porsche Museum in 2023 about some practical effects, some inside gossip at Porsche about the breakup with Red Bull. Remember how Porsche was going to supply engines to Red Bull and that deal just evaporated overnight? Yeah. In fact, I'll take this chance to leave you all itching with curiosity. We'll have teams we love, Red Bull Racing, a mega video split into 3 parts, released over the 3 Sundays without Formula One in August, to help you through the withdrawal crisis that's sure to hit. From the founding of the beverage company, telling the whole story, how 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙧 met the Thai businessman, all the way to Christian Horner's dismissal. If I'm not mistaken, we've got about 3 hours of raw footage, which should end up as roughly an hour and a half once edited. So, that's about 3 segments of around 30 minutes each. Maybe even more. The editor's here with me. But hey, patience, it's for a good cause. August, get ready for us. So, we'll see you here over the weekend. There's a video on Friday, a video on Saturday, 2 live streams on Sunday, prize giveaways, a Surfshark QR code, a QR code for my book, and there's also a Rehappy link down below in the description. Basically, there's something for everyone, something for every taste. Leave a like, it's free, costs you nothing, and you know it really helps the channel. Do me this favor, do us this favor, and I'll see you in the videos I mentioned and also on the channel's social media, where there's content all the time, even over the weekend. Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, the handles are showing up here. Link down below in the description. Thanks, that's it. We'll see each other here until you get tired of it, all the way to Sunday night. Thanks, and a big hug.